Hey there, Jim and Cindy here from OUTAPocket.
And believe it or not, we've owned our pocket for over a year.
Wow, that goes
I
quick.
can't believe
Time
it.
flies. But it was just over a year ago we put out our 60-day review of the Solis Pocket. Now that it's been over a year, we're going to do a 1-year review of the Solis Pocket.
We have learned so much in the past year that we figured people might like to know it.
Yep, so this will be our detailed review of the Winnebago Solis Pocket 36A. We've got a lot to cover. We'll tell you why we picked this van, do a quick tour, share everything we've learned and our feedback from being with this van for over a year.
There's an incredible amount to cover. We promise we'll talk as fast as we can, so let's get to it.
Let's do it.
All right. We've never owned a van before, so we really had to think about, like, what did we want in it and what did we want to do with it?
We wanted the basics, of course: a fridge, water, place to sleep just for the two of us, and a nice little sitting area.
I did not want a bathroom, and we did want it to be small enough to fit in our garage.
And we wanted to be able to keep the mountain bikes inside the van, even with the bed down when we travel.
All of that with a great, reasonable price point, which isn't easy.
We did find it in the Solis Pocket 36A.
Yeah.
So let's show you around.
It sounds good.
The first thing to realize as we start the tour is we've made over 100 add-ons, changes, and modifications to this van since we bought it. We're going to cover all of those in a future video, but for now know that it's built on the base Dodge Ram 1500 two-wheel drive chassis. You enter the van here, has a nice outdoor table. Let's take a look inside.
In here we have the prerequisite fridge, cooktop, sink. We have the Murphy bed, which, lifts right up. Everything that we needed, a nice little dinette couch to sit on, or it can convert to a table. And we have the Thetford cassette toilet is provided with this model.
The heat and cooktop are both powered by propane, which is stored in a tank in the back of the van. This does have air conditioning, but that runs off 120 volts and you don't have that off-grid. Actually, you don't have any power other than 12 volts when you're off-grid.
The van drives really great, very smooth, and the visibility is wonderful from the back camera to the side sensors.
The layout has worked out really well, from gear storage to sleeping to sitting to hanging out in the evening. It's really a great design for a small van.
However, the finishes are an issue.
The cabinetry had a number of problems, from cuts not being quite right to strips peeling off, not being glued quite right. It is plywood, so that's the good news, but it should have been finished a lot better.
There was a missing latch in one area, and another latch is misaligned, which can sometimes make things pop off out a little bit. And then there was a light strip by the cab that had started to peel off. Some of the screws would come out of the plastic.
We also encountered a strange electrical issue, which turned out to be a faulty shore power cable that came with the van. We did a whole video troubleshooting that. It was a pain in the neck to find, but in the end we got to the bottom of it. If you haven't seen our 60-day review and the short follow-up video, you definitely should take a look at those. We go through all of these initial issues we found and how we fixed some of them. And if you're looking to buy a Pocket, those would be some great things for you to look out for.
Over the past year, we've had a lot of experiences and have a lot of feedback. 1, this bed, super comfortable. We've gotten great night's sleep. 2, the toilet. A lot of people really prefer the Thetford. It's a high quality portable cassette toilet. It's not up our alley. We ended up replacing it with a composting toilet. So if you are on the fence about those two things, we do have a video you can check out. The third thing is we do seem to have a persistent little drip of a leak in the plumbing of the sink. It doesn't flood anything. We just know it's there because sometimes some of the paper products have a drip in it. We haven't tracked it down yet though. When we picked up our Pocket, it comes with light highway tires, and that's just not good enough for a New England winter. In fact, we got stuck once and had to get pushed out. A friend of ours also has a Solis Pocket, and he put on all season tires, and it works great for him. He never gets stuck. We opted to go straight for the toothy winter snow tires, and we never got stuck all in the past year. It is important to note that the Pocket does not come with a spare tire. There is an area for it if you want to add one later.
The rear bug screen on this van is actually kind of a problem. It's actually a little buggy today. It'd be a nice day to use it. But you can see this is all peeling off the sides of the van on both sides. It just won't stay stuck. And it's actually not sized right. If I go to try to seal this, look over there. See, it just pops right off. It doesn't fit. A lot of people strip this out, don't use it, replace it, fix it. This might be something we fix. We haven't decided yet.
The van hasn't given us any trouble. It's been reliable. We've never had to have it repaired. That being said, the starter battery is an issue. If you don't run the van more frequently than every 3 weeks, the starter battery goes dead. It died on us 4 times, one in as little as 19 days. Now, Winnebago put in what's called a battery boost button, and it effectively jump starts the starter battery using the house batteries. And that worked just fine. But we did opt to put in a trickle charger as a more permanent solution.
We replaced the stock rear door panels with these new ones, these add-ons. When we opened up these doors, there was very little insulation. Actually, that's one of the feedback areas people have said about this van overall, is there's some insulation, but it should be a lot thicker.
This is the smoke detector that comes with the van. And you'll notice it's in my hand and not on the roof. That's because it's supposed to be on these 2 screws, and they go into here. And as you can imagine, the vibration of the van as you're driving, it works its way free, and it falls down all the time. See, this one, the carbon monoxide detector, is already on its way out. Again.
One thing that does irritate me about the van is the locking. The way it locks without you really knowing it or realizing it. Oftentimes I go to the van and I just find the door locked, and I don't expect it to be locked. I thought everything was unlocked. So that can be a little frustrating. There's a button up here at the dash that's supposed to unlock all the doors, and on multiple occasions I've been hitting that button and just nothing happens. So I can't explain that, and that's a little frustrating.
Another great feature of this van is the Truma Vario heat system. We used it all the time over the winter, and it was wonderful. We have a video out that shows you how to use it to its fullest capacity.
Unfortunately, this outlet was bad when we bought the van. We didn't realize it at first. It was really flaky, really flaky. Finally, I replaced it, and everything's been fine ever since.
Another great feature of this van is the rooftop access port. We've used it to wire our Starlink through. There is a video on that if you're interested. You can use it to wire up, bring wiring down for a cell phone booster if you want to. The wires come through that access port and come right down here and access the power.
Something that Winnebago did on this van is they kind of messed up this upfitter area. On a Ram ProMaster van, underneath this panel is what's called the Upfitter connectors, also the fuses for the trailer hitch. To get this panel off, there were 4 screws here, and there's 1 screw down here. Now, Winnebago blocked that screw with this piece of the floor. They didn't have to do that. By doing that, they made it virtually impossible for you to use those expansion connectors on the van. I think that's really too bad.
The dash controls are pretty basic. The ProMaster isn't a luxury line, but they're clear, they're easy to use, and they work fine.
Another thing to be aware of is these bars open up and create a curtain in the back here, but these make a lot of noise and they actually fly out of these clips when you close the door. So I had to tie these down and tie these down, which should have been done at the factory to make sure these stay put and don't make too much noise.
This van does have an AC system, which is wonderful when it's hot out. You can either use it when plugged into shore power or off-grid using a generator. If you're interested in the power consumption that it needs, we do have a video that covers that.
The Uconnect system is their electronics. The menu system integrates your phones in the car. It's actually a great system we found when you're traveling.
Particularly, with 2 people, one person can be using it with their phone and playing music, and the other person can have their phone engaged in the navigation. We love the Max Air Vent. You can set it on automatic, and when it gets to be a certain temperature inside, you can set it, or the default is 78 degrees. It will automatically turn on and bring in fresh air from outside to help keep the temperature a little lower inside the pocket.
I wanted to provide some feedback on the electrical panel in this Solis Pocket. One of the first things we noticed is that the circuits weren't very well labeled. For example, there was something called a microwave circuit with its own circuit breaker, which wasn't very informative because this van doesn't have a microwave. We actually did a whole video where we mapped out what outlets and what's connected to each circuit breaker. The other thing was when we added a power station and onboard battery to the van, I wanted to be able to shut off the 12-volt charger converter, which is what normally converts shore power to recharge the 12-volt batteries. But it turns out that 12-volt converter was piggybacked on a circuit breaker with a bunch of the outlets. So Fortunately, there were empty spots in the electrical panel. I added another breaker and I moved the 12-volt converter to its own circuit breaker. We did a video on that too, but basically Winnebago should have really isolated that on its own circuit with its own circuit breaker to give people more flexibility to turn that on or off.
This van uses Zamp Solar products. It has the solar charger controller inside the van, as well as one solar panel on top of the van, but it's wired for 3, so you can expand down the line very easily. There's also a solar panel port in the back of the van, so you can plug in a portable solar panel, but be careful. Zamp is wired a little bit differently, so you're going to have to make sure that your positive and negatives are compatible.
When you buy the Solis Pocket, this area under this side of the dinette is filled with wiring and other electronics. The heater is under here. This side is where the toilet is. However, we've done a lot of modifications to this van. We took the toilet out of here, and we've used both of these now for upgrades for the van. And there's a nice conduit in the back, so you can feed wiring behind this dinette set. It's really a great platform here for upgrades.
The van has really changed our adventuring.
It has. I love how we can just go now. Throw some things in the van, take off, start going somewhere without pre-planned where we're going to be every night or have reservations. Start driving, we figure it out along the way.
And it's changed our regular adventuring too. Like when I come back from mountain biking, I can get changed in perfect privacy, which is unheard of.
For winter sports, it has been a game changer to have that warm environment to get ready, put your boots on, skiing, ice climbing, fat biking, and then to come back to a warm van. When you're cold, you need to get some dry clothes on. Maybe you have the screaming barfies, you just need to warm up your fingers.
And then you can crack open a cold one afterward.
Yeah, after you warm up your fingers, for sure. But I guess these are true of any van. What stands out to you about the Pocket specifically?
The size. It's got to be the size. It fits in a regular parking space. You don't need reservations and a trailer park. You can park anywhere.
You can, and in fact, it's smaller, shorter than your average full-size pickup truck.
Right, right. And I also like the Murphy bed. With the Pocket, you can fold it up and out of the way. You don't always have to have a bed.
You don't, and with it folded up, I was able to set up that gear rack, which has turned out to be really useful for not just gear, but you have a wet shirt, you want to hang it up, or a towel, you can clip anything to it.
Right.
And whether the bed is up or down, you can also store the 2 mountain bikes inside. That's really big for us.
Right.
Keeps them out of the elements, the road salt, the rain. They're protected and they're secure.
Right. And the layout. For the after adventuring, if you convert the dinette into a couch, you have the captain's chairs turned around, you have the bed down, you can fit 4 to 6 people hanging out very comfortably.
Not ever having a van before, I do think the biggest thing that has surprised me is how the van makes our everyday activities so much more effective and so much more fun.
Yeah.
Things we're going to do every week anyway are a lot more fun with the van.
It's not just for big trips.
No, it isn't. So we've had the van for over a year, taking it across the country, trips, sleeping in it. We encountered a number of issues. Fortunately, they were all relatively small, nothing that serious,
Right.
and we were able to fix the issues that we found ourselves.
Which is a good thing because we bought our van in another state. And while Winnebago has a policy that all of its dealers should service all of its Winnebagos, in practice it doesn't always work out that way.
So if you're considering buying a van like this, particularly Winnebago, out of state, make the calls locally first. Figure out who your local dealers are. Can you get a warranty service appointment locally? We're relatively handy. It was
Yeah.
easy for us just if we could fix it, just go ahead and fix it. Many people have told me they do the same thing. But if you need a real warranty issue, you want to make sure you have access to a technician under warranty that can service your Winnebago properly.
But
Okay.
overall,
After 1 year, what's the conclusion?
we love it. Absolutely love it. Wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, it's been a great van, I think, for the price point, the feater level. We were able
Its
to make all the
customizations,
upgrades
yeah.
that we wanted, that were important to us. You can check out some of our other videos. We go through many of those. But it's been a great platform, and it's been so much fun. I never knew having a van could be so freeing for our lifestyle.
It's been great, and we intend to stay at a Pocket for a long time.
See you next time. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.
And if you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe. Until next time.
course, we needed the basics. Water, place to sleep, just for the two of us.
This van does have an AC system, which is wonderful to have. It is nah.
It was a pain in the neck to find, but in the end we got to the bottom of that.
Well, we did find out that the alarm worked, so that was good.
True.
What's next?
I guess I'm supposed to wrap.
And if you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you. I'll screw that up. Hold on. And if you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe. Until next time.